Well, hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. My name is Ken Close, engineer, lover of Healy here in the United States, and host for today's episode. And I'm joined by our head of global operations, Jake Barron, over in Orlando. Welcome, Jake. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, Ken. Hello, everyone.
Excellent, excellent. Well, hey, you guys, I'm so glad you're here. If you're brand new to Tech Tip Tuesday, well, let me tell you a little bit how it goes. This is pretty fun and welcome, by the way, first of all. So, Tech Tip Tuesday is a chat-based forum that covers all things Healy, right? Technical, functional, theoretical, and scientific. So, if you guys have questions about the technology, the apps, the how-tos, anything that's coming up in your life with regards to Healy, we cover all that kind of stuff. The only thing we can't really do is we don't talk about how to diagnose, treat, prevent, or look into any diseases or applications for such. That's not our specialty. Our specialty is all about the tech, all about how to make it work for you, and what its capabilities are within that realm. So Jake and I and Henry has been here many times. You guys are familiar with Henry Pena, head of onboarding. He's been here many times and usually here. Today he's on some other assignments, right? He can't make it with us, but
Yeah.
here you get Jake and I, and sometimes even the audience comes up with some great solutions and answers. So you're in the right place for getting answers to all things Healy today. If that sounds good to you guys, light up the chat. Start putting your content in there, what you want to know, what you're interested in, even what you want to maybe expand upon within the Healy stuff. And of course, if you guys don't put stuff in there, we're going to talk about some quantum stuff anyway. So it's going to be fun. Buckle up. All right. Are you ready, Jake? Here we go.
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. So Maria's got one as for us, Jake, saying that I'm trying to use all the modalities. Well, that's good, right? Um, in your opinion, which programs are most beneficial to use with cables as opposed to coil, high wave, etc.? So it's a pretty good question because, we've got the various ways to apply the technology, aka like you mentioned there, you've got the coil, we've got the electrodes, which is microcurrent transmission into the body. We've got, of course, the MagHealy, and now we've got the HighWave. And then, of course, we also have the analytical engine, the Heal Advisor Analyze system. So all these things are fantastic ways in which we communicate with the body. And so which program might be more suitable for which modality? That's there's quite a wide variety of answers here, but um, one thing that's consistent across the board is that the programs that have the IMF indicator at the top of the screen, right, for the program itself, they're optimized for specific ways of transmission. Okay, the IMF programs are optimized for utilizing the cables, the electrodes, right? They're optimized for using the coil, and they're optimized for using the high wave. Okay, so those are things that when you're looking at which modality do I transmit a certain program, well, you've got a variety there. That's what they're designed for. And then the high wave has some exclusive programs that came along with it that were pretty much tailored for that technology for being that, but it's not limited to. So there's some additional programs there, right? So I always am an advocate for number one, diversity. No different than say our gut biome, right? The diversity in the bacteria within that community, it's our most advantageous system. So same thing with how we apply these frequencies. Frequencies are frequencies, okay? And science is knowing that, and studies show that certain frequencies applied to us as a body, us as a quantum blueprint, us as a bioenergetic field have an effect. Okay, and so how they being transmitted into the body or to those different arenas is when we do it in a diverse way, multiple ways, we get kind of all angles, right? So, Jake, you want to add to that?
I love this question though, because the more we add to the Healy family, the Healy ecosystem, we have many different ways you can use these programs, and it's a great question. Like when it was just the Healy device with cables and then the coil, it was kind of like a lot of people were just saying, okay, you focus with the cables where you're delivering the microcurrent on programs that are more physical in nature, and then use the coil for the programs that are more mental health type things as well. Two was kind of like a general thing as well. Of course, it's up to you, but when you're adding in high wave and coil and vibrating and using electrodes and microcurrent, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to pick because there's only so many programs you can run each day too. And if you want to make sure you're still getting microcurrent, as far as making sure you're running programs you benefit the most from that, having that microcurrent delivered to the body to get the benefits of the ATP production, amino acid transport, that kind of thing as well. And then maybe for the ones with the coil, one of your programs for relaxation or extreme tension or these kind of things as well. But then also the high wave too. There's programs specifically for the high wave, which are the best ones to run because they were designed specifically for that as well. But there's not really like one way to answer this question too, because there's so many accommodations now as well. So I think it's worth just spending some time and maybe trying different protocols and routines for yourself and see what makes you feel the best too, and you get the best results from as well. There's nothing wrong with trying something for 1 or 2 weeks and saying, okay, maybe I'm going to adjust this a little bit and run two high wave programs per day and one microcurrent and one with a coil, and maybe the next time I'm going to try doing two microcurrent and one high wave and one coil or something like that, and making some adjustments there and doing a new resonance analysis every 2 weeks to see what's the most important programs that you need right now too. And then of course we haven't even talked about MagHealy, but keeping the MagHealy incorporated into that also into your daily routine, whether it's you know running programs specifically on your body using maybe the McMakin or the McMakin Plus programs, or drinking water that's been infused with quantum analyzed frequencies each day with the MagHealy. That's a great way to get some of those benefits as well, or just of course using some of the atmosphere programs as well while you're sleeping or working out or cooking or whatever the case may be too. There's a program and a modality and whatever for every situation pretty much uh in life now too. And yeah, it's nice sometimes to be able to someone just tell you, hey, use this and this on these days for these times and whatever. But right now that's not something we have right now. So it's kind of up to you to experiment on your own and see what you get the best results with.
I totally agree. There is a lot of possibilities. So let's look at it this way. Um, let's just say you walk into a grocery store, right? And maybe it's a small grocery store or a huge grocery store, but you walk in the door, scan the room, and just look at the possibilities, right? Just look at the total number of possibilities, and you're going, I just don't know where to go. But yet you probably came there for a reason, right? You probably went to the grocery store for a reason, no different than how you were attracted to Healy. There was a reason, there was a purpose, there was a drive, there was some heartfelt connection that drove you there. And I've heard so many people say, "Oh my gosh, Healy was created just for me." Right? Have you ever heard that, Jake?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like people say, Healy was created just for me. I manifested Healy. It came to me because of what I was going through in my life. And so when it came to you, what was the initial draw? What was it when you walked to the door of the grocery store, the door of Healy? There was some intention, some focal point, right? And then you walked into the room, you walked into the Healy world environment, and that started a process with you. It's unique to you. And so now the offering is, as you learn more and more about Healy, you expand and you start going down the aisles in that grocery store, right? So same thing with Healy. You start diving down the aisles of the different modalities and the ways in which we implement. So I always say, let's go back and listen to the body. Let's listen to the body. Let's pay attention to the intuition, the intelligence that this body has been speaking to us, and then use that information as a rudder, right? To kind of guide us in the right directions. And as Jake was saying, there's variety, right? This is so important that we do various modalities so that we can get an experience. I believe that the meaning of life is experience, right? We have these thoughts in our brain and these emotions in our body, and the two enrich the experience of life. And so, as we have an experience with something, the thing is that nobody can say it didn't happen to you. How many times has anybody ever told you, oh, no, that's not real? But yet you are the one experiencing it. There's no way that somebody can say, no, that did not happen. And so give those things that variety, give your body the experiences in real time. And one of the, I mean, I'll just tell you mine. I use the cables a lot. Why? Because I use microcurrent. And I don't just put them on my wrist, folks. I get a little creative because if you understand the flow of microcurrent, if you just stretch your arms way out wide, right, you've got one wristband on the left and one wristband on the right, and that microcurrent is transmitting through a wire, like a wire that's giving information to a lamp. You got it plugged into the wall and a light bulb over here. You turn the switch on and boom, there it is. There's a direct path of information down the wire. Okay, we're kind of doing the same thing here, but the microcurrent goes through the arms and then kind of spreads out across the body and goes through the other side. And so you get a pretty good size systemic influence from the microcurrent of the body, right? It's speaking to the cell structures and to the designed cell structures that program's applying to. But I can also put one, say, on my right wrist and the other on my left ankle. Now look at the path of information going through a larger portion of torso and body mass. Okay, so I can change the way that this microcurrent flows. The high wave, folks, is designed the way it works with that higher frequency carrier wave. It's a global influence over the entire body, right, at one time. I don't care where you put it. I wear mine on my ankle a lot. Now, if you're out there walking around the neighborhood or around the city or whatever your neighborhood, your location is, and you're wearing, say, shorts or something, you got this thing around your ankle, people might think you're, some kind of a home security or some deterrent system on your ankle, right? You've seen those house arrest things on people's. It's like, wow, it is
Yeah.
kind of interesting looking, but it really draws questions. I wear my Healy everywhere I go. Why? Because people see this thing around my neck with these wires attached to me, and people ask questions. What are you doing? What is that? And I always say, this is the way that I improve the health of my body. This is the way that I actually upregulate my frequency, increase my vitality, and be a healthier version of me. I just flew to Miami over the weekend and I wear it through security. And every single time, now make sure you have enough time before your flight if you're going to do this. Every single time I get flagged and I get patted down, right? What is that? And I say, it is my vitality medical device, right? It is my system of healing. No different than taking your vitamins with you on your trip, right? So there we go. I wear it and they check it out, and 98% of the time, the security people want my phone number. Why? Because I say this is the way I feel better, right? And they want my number. And so I have a little wristband here that all I do, I say, you got your phone? Pop your phone out quick. Tap this, boom, all my contact information goes to them and they can contact me, right? So anyway, my point is this is part of your life. And when you're testing these modalities, give them some time, and then remember why you came to Healy in the first place, right? Remember why. Use that intuition. Hopefully that makes sense, guys. Great question, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So here we go. Marjorie's asking, and this is a great question, folks. We talked about this a little bit, right? Last week, week before, whatever, um,
Yeah, exactly.
about the high
Yeah.
wave and the different models.
Yeah.
Of
So we talked about a few different things. One, if you have a plastic clip on it, that is an issue with the highway too, as far as the way that the plastic clip is formed at the end there, there's kind of like this notch, and then that can actually get stuck in the highway. There's a way to get it out if you kind of pry open the or pop the clip open a little bit and you can get it out, but it has the tendency to get stuck there. That's why we recommend to only use a high wave with a metal clip Healy too, because it's rounded and there's no way to kind of get stuck in there too. But as far as if you don't have a clip on it, would it fit? I mean, yes, it would fit on your high wave, and actually you can use it without a clip. But the thing that we always caution when you don't have a clip is that there's no it's not as secure. So basically, the clip itself is what fits into the slot on the back. So when you put your high wave in, or your Healy into there, it's the clip that's going into that notch there. So that keeps it from moving left and right, basically. And then of course you have the prongs as well, just like on the coil, the prongs are what also keeps this in place. But without the clip kind of sitting in that notch in the back, it's more loose and the highway, I mean, the Healy can move left and right and could possibly fall off during use also. So would it, yeah, it'll fit fine. It's just not nearly as secure as it would be if you have the clip on there as well. So it's kind of a yes, you could use it, but do so be extra cautious when you're using it. Don't use it if you're moving your arms around a lot and a lot of activity. But if you just want to use it at home, and you're kind of for the most part still and want to run a program, it's not going to be an issue. You're still going to get the proper connectivity and everything as well, because that has nothing to do with the clip. It only has to do with the prongs here too. Just like when you're using the coil or putting the electrode cables into your Healy as well. But yeah, so sure, it's just not ideal, especially if you're active and moving around a lot and don't want to risk possibly your Healy falling off and and losing that, because then you have another bigger problem than not to having a clip. You have no Healy either. So
You've lost them both, right?
yeah.
So Jake made some points there, folks, and I want to demonstrate. I was kind of showing you on the camera here. This is the older style plastic clip, okay? And you can see that there's a little notch at the very
Yeah.
entry point of the clip. There's a notch or kind of a barb, we might call at the on this clip, and it's made of plastic. The clip is plastic, and it does kind of pivot slightly, right? It does kind of have a bit of a motion to it there. But when you clip it into the slot of the high wave, inside there's kind of a recess, right? Inside there's a recess in the very back. And so when this clip goes in there, it kind of locks, right? The barb kind of locks in the high wave and makes it difficult to come out. Okay. Can you make it come out? Yes, but it makes it very difficult. And risking the damage to both the clip and the high wave.
Mhm.
And as Jake mentioned too, as long as the Healy goes in and connects via the Healy ports that we're familiar with, where we place the wires, right? Those two ports there. When the two ports connect into the high wave, uh, the two pins on the high wave, that makes the electrical connection between the high wave system and the Healy. And then when you place it on your body, the tabs on the back, these stainless steel tabs on the back touching your skin, your body, now completes the entire overall need for connection. Okay, so that's just the one style. It's just not optimal to use this style. If you're going to use this style, and again, it's not optimal, but if you did remove the clip, you can remove the clip. Okay, now you have no clip on there. Let me show you the right version. There's no clip. Okay. So let's say we're using that. When you attach the HighWave to one with no clip, now there's no mechanical secure connection between the back of the Healy and the HighWave casing. You see this? Now the Healy, as Jake was mentioning, it's loose and it can rock up and down. Not only that, if there was enough pressure applied to the Healy, you could actually kind of break off the connective portion of the HighWave because of the leverage that you would
Mm.
that it would have right here, right? So it has no mechanical connection on the backside. So is there a risk there? Yes, there's a risk there as well. The HighWave was optimized for the design that has the metal clip on the back, and as you notice, the metal clip on the back of the new design does not have that little barb on the underside. It's
Mm.
got a little bend at a little tip on the end here, but no barb under there to lock into the HighWave. So this style, when you slide that in, this style, right? It's designed to smoothly slide into that port and not necessarily lock inside there, but put mechanical pressure in there to keep from having any kind of movement, right? It's just mechanically connected and electronically connected. So that's why it's optimized for this style. Uh, I mean, there's lots of innovative ways it could be done. And one of the questions here coming up is that can I order a new clip for the plastic ones that broke off or lost? Used to be able to. Jake, are you still able to get those clips?
Um, I'm not actually 100%. Let me check on that. I don't. It's been a while since anyone's asked about getting another plastic clip sent out. I think we still do have. So if you're talking about the plastic one, let
Yeah.
me want to confirm here in the chat. If you're talking about the plastic one or you're talking about the metal ones too, just to make sure here. But I'll follow up on that as well because and you got also need to be careful that a lot of times what we've seen with the when the plastic clip breaks is that to be sure that the housing itself is still secure also because it has a tendency where the pin is basically or where the pin sits into the plastic housing if there's any crack there as well that you could maybe put a new clip on there but it pops right back off because it's not fully secure also there.
Yeah, what he's talking about right here, the pins that
Yeah.
hold that clip in, they're pins like on a watch, right? On the face of a watch. There's spring-loaded pins that lock into the plastic cabinet on both sides here of the tab or of the clip. They lock in there. So if the plastic housing right here on the side of your Healy has also been broken, then a new clip is not going to connect. It's not going to the pin won't lock back in, and the new clip will still fall out. So so anyway, that's a big deal. I mean, as far as you know, from an from an engineering perspective, again, that's what I look at things. I look at things from mechanical and electrical connections. And we're talking about having the mechanical connection with the clip, the proper clip that goes into this slot back here, and the electrical connection that connects to these pins here. The older style Healy that had the notch in the top corner, okay, that is what is that version? Um, let's see.
uh,
It was the hardware style or firmware style because we're at 226 right now, right?
yeah,
The old
219 or 2 I don't
it,
we refer to as Healy 1.0, the current version is 2.0, and then next will be 3.0. So,
yeah. And those early versions, the significant difference between those early versions were that the the pins for like the coil and how they went into the cabinet were a little bit different. They're different than these pins here. So that's why you had a different coil also associated with that other Healy cabinet style. And I call these cabinets, not like a cabinet that you put your fine china in, but it is like the housing, the casing that houses the electronics. That's basically the cabinet style. And so the way that the pins on the earlier design went, the ones with the notch in the side right here, the hole in the middle, that was a little bit different, and they are not compatible with the HighWave. Um, you can, by the way, order a brand new Healy kit, and it comes in the box, right? You get a whole kit. You get the whole Healy with the electrodes and the Healy and all the stuff for a replacement value price, not full price of what you paid. What is that now, Jake? 300 and
365, I believe it is.
like
Yeah.
$365 for US. So you could order a new one, and then you have the current everything and a brand new warranty, by the way, on that device, and all of your programs, all of your edition content will transfer over to the new one. So that makes sense in some cases if that works. If you've got the older model and you want to upgrade to something new. Okay. Um, and here's a comment here. It says, I'm still, um, let's see, still is there still an offer to replace my Healy for 198? So my HighWave will stay
So
clipped.
that promo, I ran for 2 months. I believe it was July and August. It's not currently available right now. It could come back at some point in the future, but not it's not available at this time.
Yes. So that was a great deal. Again, stay tuned for something like that. Take advantage of those when they come around. So Maria's got a question here. It says, do you have a little more information on the new McMakin Plus programs? I'm assuming you're talking about with the Obsidian, yeah? What do we have? You got something available, Jake? Is there some new info?
Yeah, there are some documents available in your back office. If you go to the download section, there's a brochure available for MagHealy that is it's just called the MagHealy brochure, but it has stuff now related to McMakin Plus programs there. Two, there's a separate flyer, not in the brochure section, in the flyers section, that's called it's about the MagHealy Obsidian, and that one has some details on that. So like if you this is the MagHealy Obsidian flyer, and this one talks about the key benefits here, a little bit about the MagHealy Plus, and then there's some information about the 12 different programs that are in the McMakin. Oh, I didn't. Oh, I didn't share my screen, did I?
Oh, no, not yet.
Yeah. So this is the MagHealy Obsidian flyer, and then on the second page of this flyer, you have the different program names and descriptions as well related to the McMakin Plus. So there's some great content here. There's more content being prepared and videos and that kind of thing that will be available also. But for now, this is pretty much what we have as far as more details on those McMakin Plus programs.
Yeah, check those out. Those are great. Okay. So let's see. There's another question or comment here. HighWave will not fit my Healy. How to clean my Healy? And there's a picture. Oh my goodness, you have used your Healy. Good job, by the way. Um, it may not fit because of dirt, or that it may not be that. Um, I would like to see the back of that Healy. What clip or what's on the back if there is anything in the way. Um, so ensuring that, like I said, I have I have a Healy here with no clip. There's nothing on that. It's actually just I do have a little tab that I use to hook to a necklace, right? But even that, it will still fit on the HighWave. Okay. Even with that tab on there, it will still fit on the HighWave. My tab that I have for the necklace is just in the back. It's out of the way. It's not obstructing. Again, but like I mentioned, there is no secure clip holding the backside of the Healy cabinet into the HighWave framework. So it's going to be loose and, you know, um, insecure. So, but it still fits in there, right? It still fits in there. And the significance of how it fits is that it needs to, the pins themselves, you align the pins with, with the Healy itself. You align those pins and then they should slide in when it's nice and flat on there, right? This is the mechanics of it basically. When it's nice and flat, those pins will lock in and you just give it a little push in there and it locks. I do it from the back. I just pull, kind of
Hmm.
squeeze the two like this, squeeze them together, and it just locks right in. Um, like I'm saying, go ahead.
That's interesting because like it wouldn't if you're not able to fit the high wave in as far as where the two prongs are, it wouldn't really be specific to the highway because you shouldn't be able to use a coil either or the electro cables too because as long as those are clear, as long as where those connect inside your Healy device, if the coil fits and the electro cables fit, the high wave should too, because that would mean that there's nothing really obstructing the path there. So it's interesting. I'm wondering what else could be there. Yeah, as Ken's
Yeah.
showing.
So if you take a look inside your Healy, this is one of the things that happened early on. I noticed a lot. Inside those two holes, you'll see two little other circles, right? Two little circles in there. Those are actually electrical pins that are connected to the circuitry inside the Healy. Those pins in there, if one is bent, right? So if it's not centered in your Healy, it's not right in the middle of those ports. If it's not right in the middle, then anything, well, your wires may still plug in, but anything that fixes the two connecting points into one particular angle, such as this, or the coil. So you see these two pins right here are fixed in a casing. You can't they can't move independently. Does that make sense? So the way any obstruction or any damage to the pins inside your Healy, if they're bent, then a device like this will not plug in. But wires will, because remember the two wires are independent of each other and can have a little bit different angle and can you can get them to go in most likely. But your coil will not, as Jake mentioned, it would be the same condition. The coil may not go in, uh, nor the HighWave.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's also it's interesting because like when you first get the high wave too, you kind of got to get used to the angle to insert the Healy device onto the high wave because the like the prongs on the high wave are not centered. They're offset to the side there. So when you put your Healy device on, you can't just put it straight down onto the highway. So if you see mine, it's kind of off centered now here too. And then because you have to line up those prongs with the holes in the Healy, as Ken was showing, and then as you push it down, it kind of comes back to the center as it's fully inserted there too. So if it doesn't fit, it could be related to just yes, there could be something stuck in your Healy device, but also that if your issue is like it where it's kind of like this and not fully on there, needing to kind of push it down at an angle to get it to fully sort of sit in the high wave too.
Yeah, there is some mechanical alignments.
Yeah.
How many of you guys out there like have a blender, right? With a colander that sits on top, right? And does maybe you make some smoothies or whatever. Maybe you're fancy as margaritas. I don't know. I'm just saying. But you're making some, like, so the blender, just think about it this way. The colander that goes on your blender, right, has blades inside. And On the bottom side, there is some sort of gear mechanism that locks that blade into the motor part of the blender. And they have to be sitting pretty precisely, right? If it's on wrong, it's not going to unite and they're not going to lock together and it's the whole system is not going to function properly. And so this is again the same thing that's true of Healy and the HighWave and the Coil. It's designed to function together in a certain way mechanically so that it can then provide electronically, energetically, and frequency wise the benefit. So, does that make sense? It's important to, kind of stay in tune with that. Um, I know some minds work more mechanically, logically. Others are, maybe more creatively, energetically. And so, to one that makes total sense about the physics may not to another. I get that. I understand it. So that's why I was kind of trying to show you some of the physics of what that means, and we're trying to explain that in a more physical way. Hopefully that is helpful. If not, definitely shoot us some more questions and we'll see if we can refine that. Okay. Next question. Maria says McMakin Plus programs do not show up in the Resonance app. Do you know why? Um, yeah, so are those now, so that McMakin Plus, when you're doing an analysis, it depends on what version account you've got. I know
Yeah,
that's,
I mean, technically, the Making Plus programs would only be available. So yeah, if you have a MagHealy Obsidian, then I believe just like when Healy Obsidian launched, it took a little bit of time to get the energy cycle added to the database for the Analyze app too. Actually, that's a great question. I have not even personally checked on that too to see if those, as far as the database goes too. So that's something for me to follow up on here too as well. So let me actually
yeah, if you've
do
got
that.
the Obsidian, it's one of those, again, the Obsidian um, Mag Healy or Healy,
Mhm.
one of those inclusive packages. So if you don't have something, that'd be a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Well, Jake will dig into that. Uh, okay, so another question here. Will using the creative program help with problem solving? So again, it's one of those things of giving information about what program helps with what condition. But if you look at, let's just say creative, what does that mean? Um, in terms of energetically, what's that mean? And then what's problem solving? So creativity. So I always say that if necessity is the mother of invention, then creativity is the father, right? So when we are in our creative mind, we're not so analytical, and so that does help for creativity. It does help for problem solving. There is an analytical mind that works on problem solving, but what happens when the analytical mind hits a roadblock, right? Just, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. It's the analytical mind. So when you let go of the analytical mind and go into more of your alpha brainwave or lucid sleepy state, you are now in the creative side of your brain. And that creative side of your brain looks at things differently. Einstein said once upon a time that said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Why? Because the knowledge is limited. What you learn in a book or what you got your degree in, whatever, that's limited. But imagination is not. Think about it in your dream state, in your sleep state. When you're in that sleep state, how many of you guys have had a very weird dream? Right? Anybody? Just me? Wait a minute. No, you just had a really weird dream. It's like so abstract and so completely off the wall. It's like, what? That's that creative mind engaging and doing these interesting things that you would never see in the physical world. So that's your creativity. The options are infinite, endless. So a program such as creativity or some, I don't know, there's things that kind of enhance our intuition. those are the ones that I would use when it comes to problem solving. The other ones I would look at, folks, just my opinion. I love running things from the learning program, by the way, because on there it's activating, memory. It's activating. Let's put it this way: it's down regulating stress. Stress is our number one killer of creativity. Believe me. The moment you go into some stress response or some judgment condition, you will down regulate creativity like a hundredfold. It's just going to shut off. So, and that's because survival mode narrows the bandwidth of your awareness into just what's in your face, right? That's it. So, possibility gets shut down. It's just escape, evade, or survive. So, from the learning program, when it comes to some of those acute programs that actually downregulate stress, exam acute, or some of those ones that are just designed to downregulate stress, or even in the sleep programs, or we can move ourselves out of sympathetic into parasympathetic. That's the bed rest, or some of those ones that are just designed to not to make you sleepy, but to put your body in a state that's ready, able, and willing to rest. What does that require? A nervous system in the rest and digest, aka parasympathetic. That's what it requires. So once that nervous system is in parasympathetic, guess what turns on? Creativity. That's why when you sleep, the mind gets out of the way. The analytical mind is gone. Creativity is wide open. And all of a sudden, the dreams are elaborate. Right? All right. What else we got, guys? Um, so, Jake, you want to talk about what's upcoming, our event that's coming up tomorrow?
Well, we tomorrow's October 1st, the start of Q4. Crazy. But yeah, we our Frequencies and Friends is at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. For those of you that have not registered yet, I will get the link here and put that into the chat as well. But just know you can always get the link to register by going to our Healy World America's calendar page too. So if you ever don't know where to go to find or register for an event, actually, I can just show that right here. It'd be easier. That
Yep.
way. But yeah, so if you just go to this page here, HealyAmericasEvents.com, and then you see go down to the October section, and then you have right here, October 1st, 1 p.m. So I'll copy this link and I'll put this into the chat. And then for those of you that have not registered yet, definitely go ahead and do so you don't miss out on all the big announcements to um, for October. And yeah, wow, it still doesn't sound like this. It's crazy to think that October is here.
I know, right? I was like, where'd September go?
I
Where'd
know.
August, where'd August go? Where'd the summer go?
Yeah.
If you notice some of these things too, that time becomes less relevant and seems to accelerate as we move into our fourth, fifth, and sixth decade of life, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, remember way back when you just couldn't wait to get your driver's license? It was like, seems like it was taking forever. I just want to hurry up and
Yeah.
get my driver's license. And then, well, I want to turn 21, I want to go out and be able to be an
Yeah.
adult and do all the things that adults can do. And it's like, took forever. You're 20 years old and the 21st birthday never came. And then after that, what happened? It's like, phew, things are
Yeah.
flying. Woo! So take advantage of every precious moment, folks.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's see what else we got.
All right, guys. So if you click on that link right there, you can if you're on your computer, well, actually anywhere, even on your smart device, you click on that link right there. You can go right in and register for the Frequencies and Friends event coming up.
Mhm.
So don't miss that. And by the way, if you want to save any of this chat, right up there at the top of the chat box where it says Healy Tech Tip Tuesday, three little dots. Click on those three little dots. A drop down menu pops up and it will say Save Chat. Click on Save Chat so that kind of locks in a command at the end of this call a pop-up will come up on the screen if you're on your laptop or PC, and it will say, save chat. And so then you'll have all that stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Good stuff, guys.
let me see. I think what else we have new coming up here.
I think we're caught up in questions, so yeah, so we can kind of
Yeah.
explore. The October and the fall kind of feeling of season starts getting people into, hey, where's the holiday stuff coming up, Um, there's always amazing things happening up through the holidays. We don't want to get too far ahead, but um, that's the mind starts going into the next thing, the next season. Um, hopefully, like I said,
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna make sure you're keeping up to date with our Healy World America's, sorry, not Healy World Learning Hub on YouTube as well. New content added every single week there, and those I always mention those Healy Solution series that we have here in the U.S. Those are great, shorter sort of calls as well. Those are around 30 minutes long, so those are always added to our YouTube channel. And then also the advanced trainings that are coming from the APAC region. Those are pretty much on a weekly basis. Also, there's some really great topics on that as well recently. I think it was one earlier this month on strengthening relationships through frequency based communication with Healy, which is great. These are in depth. These are like an hour and a half or more. So it's not a quick sort of glance over some of these topics. It's really a deep dive into to these things and how frequencies can help benefit you in many areas of your life.
Another thing that's coming up, the Healy Solution series, folks. Like every month there's a new topic in the series. And I can give you a little sneak preview, maybe. How about that? A little sneak preview. Maybe there's something coming up. But there's some cool topics, right? There's Healy does a poll to kind of see what the field is looking for and what would be best to serve you. And so some of the topics such as aging and cellular energy, that sounds like a fun topic, right? Hormonal balance, beauty and skin, right? Some of the things these are things that you in the field have been like asking about and looking for. And so those topics they're going to be experts, field leaders talking about these topics coming up in the next few episodes. So stay tuned and tap in. That stuff is on the Heal America's events page. So you can tap in and make sure you're on those calls. They're short, they're less than an hour, less than 40 minutes, I think. Um, and it's a certain topic. So, and it's the field leaders that are presenting this content and how they're doing it. So that's a great place to be also. Um, yeah, and if you guys want to, my advice is go to Healy School a little bit every day. So some of you guys are coming here for the questions and get some specifics solved. But I promise you that there's things you don't even know your Healy will do that will stimulate a whole nother group of questions. So
Mhm.
when you go to the Healy World Learning Hub, there's videos on there and there's content on there in there that can stimulate more. You may discover something you didn't even think of that Healy can do, and that to me is super useful. It's not what we know now; it's what we don't know yet that gets us to the next level. I mean,
Mhm.
if we knew it now, we'd be at the next level, right? And we already are at the next level from what we knew yesterday. So, so I always say it's like open your gaze, widen your gaze, and see what you don't know now to get you to the next level. And believe me, if you may be content with where you are right now, but it doesn't mean that there's not another level of healing or another level of performance or another level of ability within your human body, within your awareness. There always is. There always is. Whether you're a finely tuned Olympic athlete or, I don't know, someone just hanging out at home. the variance between those two is just what they know, right? It's just what they know. They keep going. And even that finely tuned Olympic athlete continues to expand. So, where do you want to go, folks? All right. Any questions out there, guys? You guys are doing great, though. Thank you for what you've offered up and the questions you've asked so far. I love it. We got about 7 minutes here left. So some of you guys have heard. Maybe Jake, you want to talk a little bit about what may be coming up in the next for the next quarter as far as a tech tip festival or party?
Yeah, I have not set the date yet for our quarterly celebration too. So probably not next Tuesday, probably maybe the Tuesday after that as well, but we'll give advance notice as well to make sure um everybody can join in for the big party too. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely looking forward to that coming up here in October.
Yeah, so if you guys have not made it to one of the tech tip celebrations, right? It's always a way of celebrating the quarter, getting people on board to test your Tech Tip Tuesday trivia, answer some questions, win some prizes. Invite your friends. Even if you can, I'll give you a little hint. You can actually go back to the YouTube page, by the way, and there's all of the recordings that we've done we're on year 3, aren't we? Um, I,
Yeah, more than that, I
is this,
think.
I know as far as Tech Tip Tuesday has been around for going on 5 years, right? That's what
Yeah, yeah,
we, when corporate came
yeah.
in, I think it's been
True. Yeah,
at least 3.
yeah.
Anyway, it's gone by fairly quickly, but there's a lot of
Mhm.
content in there on that page. And so the information, or I should say the questions come from that page, right? From the stats that Tech Tip Tuesday has accumulated over those years. And so then if you kind of take a look at that page and or that YouTube page and that channel, dig in and you might come up with an answer to some of the questions that will come up on this next event. So stay tuned. All right, guys. What else you
So
got?
I was just the McMakin Plus programs are not yet available in the Analyze app. So that it's as far as the timeline on that, it's still going to be a little bit before that all gets sort of updated and the app is updated and everything as well. But yeah, we'll if I hear anything new on that, we'll definitely keep people updated here on Tech Tip Tuesday related to that topic.
Well, there you go, guys. You're getting it live right here,
Yep.
real time. I mean, nobody else knows the answer either, so you're getting it
Yeah.
live here, straight from the corporate resources. So when new things come out, I remember when Healy first came out, right? The very first launch, it was not in the US, it was in Europe, and then it's quickly spread to 51 countries in like a month. It was
Mhm.
crazy. It took a while for it to get to the United States, but not really a long time. And so there was a lot of questions, a ton of questions, and then the entire evolution of how Healy was working globally was still evolving in real time. Think about that. When you've got a product that is tapping into um, every single economic structure there is, Healy's tapping in, whatever it is, it's tapping into that and giving solutions for it. So many of the business sectors were being influenced by Healy, and that was a very sought after device, a sought after product. And so because of that, some supply and demand, right? It was like trying to produce enough. Healy could never predict really how expansive that this could get, and it got very expansive very quickly. Because as I mentioned earlier in the call, some of you know said, "But man, I manifested Healy, right? It was just for me." So many have said that, and that's because it is a technology. It doesn't work just on the three-dimensional space. It is a quantum entanglement device, and
Mm,
I use this description. If I'm on the elevator pitch or napkin pitch, it's like I say, it's this. It is the bridge between the quantum field of information, the infinite intelligence, and the biological and physical fields of matter. Okay, it's the bridge, and so with something like that, where is it not useful? That's a shorter answer. Where is it not useful? And I think for a minute on that answer, and it's like one word: nowhere. Right?
mm,
It's useful everywhere. So, so there we go. Um, and yeah, so I was told not to use Healy because it activates the Kundalini spirits. Is that valid? So, what is uh, the so spirits? What? Okay, again, what do we believe in? Not Kundalini. Um, what are spirits? What is your opinion of spirits? Or what is your opinion of, I don't know, aliens? What is your opinion of parasites? What is your feeling? What is it that you believe in? Because I guarantee you, what you believe, you will achieve. Where you place your attention is where you place your energy. This is universal law. It's not mine. It's just this is how vibration frequency and what we call a magnetic draw happens. When we have a feeling in our body, this feeling in the body, what is it? It's a chemical response to a thought, and then that chemical response gives you a feeling. Can you define what a feeling is? I mean, we say a feeling as love or joy or affection or we can say these emotions, but what is the feeling? Because that's completely subjective. An emotion is a definition that we give assigned meaning to. The entire psychological community puts all these defined meanings on an emotion. But somewhere along the line in your world, you were told that you're angry, and now you assign meaning to that. And that assigned meaning as angry now is tied to a feeling, a subjective feeling in your body. So if I say I am angry and Jake was to say I am angry and we were trying to compare notes to say it's exactly the same feeling, no, it's not. No, it's not. Neither is the assigned meaning of what angry is. What might set me off would be nothing to Jake or vice versa, right? So these are all very, very subjective influences. And so whatever we believe, we will achieve. And so, does Healy activate some foreign object? It's not possible. Why? Because Healy resonates with you. With you. If it finds your resonant frequency, it uses a technology that is called random noise generation. It's an interface with consciousness. What consciousness? Yours, and then taps into a quantum field of information. This is just objective information: life, death, white, black, green, blue. None of that is subjective in the quantum field. It's all objective information, ones and zeros, logically, right? Truth. And it just simply bridges truth with your subjective opinion. The body is subjective to your consciousness. It is now a production of what you believe. If that production, aka body, is broken, in disarray, or in lack of balance, who created that? It was available in the field, and consciousness, your consciousness, solidified it into matter. So now let's bridge back to your defined blueprint, your infinite intelligence. Let's kick back into that. And how do we do that? So there's a beautiful, perfect blueprint of you in the quantum field, not broken, not in disarray. We solidify this disarray, this broken, into physical form by our consciousness, but we can get back to that by bridging it with this infinite intelligence, with this bridge. So if we believe in something demonic, it's showing its manifestation in our body. get back to your perfect blueprint. Go back to the quantum field, okay? Go back there. Let this bridge bring you back there and bring that alignment and balance back into your body. Is that fair enough? Okay. All right, you guys. Jake, thanks for being here. Appreciate all your help. This is
Yeah.
this is wonderful every single time. Audience, thank you guys for being here. Wonderful questions. We will see you again soon. Be sure to tune in for Frequencies and Friends tomorrow. And we'll see you some more. All right.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys.